Welcome to Hustle, Style and Stories with Shanu Suresh. On the show today, we are honored to have His Excellency Ferdinand Lahnstein, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Netherlands to the State of Qatar. He has been championing international relationships and has been advocating pressing humanitarian issues, thereby being at the forefront of diplomacy. On the show today, we have an interesting chat with him, understanding his journey and looking at his vision for the future. Let's dive right into Hustle, Style and Stories with Shanu Suresh. Ambassador Ferdinand, thank you so much for joining us. It's truly an honor to have you sitting here with us on Hustle, Style and Stories with Shanu Suresh.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Well, it's His Excellency Ferdinand, the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Netherlands to the State of Qatar. It's a very heavy title, of course. And first, tell me, how did diplomacy begin for you?
Well, diplomacy began actually in 2006. Was my first posting in Sri Lanka. It was during the end game of the civil war in Sri Lanka, and that's when I really started to be a diplomat. I had an earlier career in change management within our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I also have been 4 years IT director of our ministry. So I have a kind of atypical career as a diplomat. So I will also say that I became a diplomat by accident. But I must say that I'm close to my retirement, and but I would say that this is one of the most fun and best jobs I've ever done in my life. So
close to your retirement, so that must have been quite a colorful surface so far. What has been the highlight of your career?
Well, I think this is becoming the highlight of my career, definitely. But more in general, I'm passionate about change, and especially about how IT and tech in general can change the way we work. That's my passion about doing things, and I really love the Web Summit for this, because it vibrates for me things I love by heart, and I'm a strong believer in tech. With tech can change a lot of things for us. And we are the owners of tech. So with tech, I mean, we can change things for the better. So
you feel you're at the right place?
I'm here at the right place, and I'm optimist by nature.
I mean, there are wonderful things to do in terms of bilateral relationships between the Kingdom of Netherlands and the State of Qatar. But what specifically have you been proud about during your tenure? And what do you think will lead the way for the future?
Yeah, so I started 1.5 years ago in Qatar, and when I entered Qatar, I found that the Netherlands was kind of underrepresented in Qatar. I think we have a great track record on being innovative, sustainable solution. We're big in agriculture, water management, logistics, and we also have a very innovative tech sector in the Netherlands. So my ambition is to bring that more to Qatar, and so I'm almost there to have a project on vertical farming here in Qatar with Dutch technology. And on this Web Summit, brought 22 Dutch companies to Qatar, startups and scale-ups to feel the flavor and the vibration here in Qatar. And my aim is that if I leave here in 2-3 years' time in Qatar, we have a kind of subsidiary of a R&D center from the Netherlands, from one of our science parks, based here in Qatar Science and Technology Park. So that's my dream, where I'm working on. And
so Qatar has been sort of a home to you for how long exactly, and how has it been?
Well, I must say that if people ask me this question, I'll say I'm still in honeymoon phase. So everything is now, every day I'm kind of surprised, enthusiastic about the people, the hospitality, the interesting things they do. I'm a strong believer in the vision of this leadership in this country. I think they have a great way forward. They have done the work on infrastructure in the working up to the World Cup. Now they're working on creating a knowledge-based economy here in in Qatar. And I think all the elements which are necessary for creating this are being set in place. And we are happy here to support them in that journey. And I think we can both benefit from that. We have a lot of challenges in the Netherlands. For instance, in the south of Holland, of the Netherlands, we need for the next 5 years at least 50,000 engineers.
Wow.
And
so that's a huge scope right there.
Exactly. And we will not be able to deliver 50,000 engineers from our universities and vocational training centers. So there is an interesting collaboration between Qatar and let's create a kind of center here in Qatar where people from all over the world can come to, be trained and educated, and can also work maybe also on a distance on solving issues, problems, and challenges for the tech industry in the Netherlands.
You're talking about a lot of employment opportunities as well.
Absolutely.
Tech sector is one, agricultural sector is another one. Is there anything more that the youth of today can really focus on in case they want to, in case they're looking for employment or in case they're looking for opportunities both in Qatar and Netherlands?
Yeah, I think that on research and development, I think there are not many programs on collaboration between Qatari universities and the universities in the Netherlands. So I think there is, for instance, if you look to the health sector here in Qatar, they have a huge database with data on health. Dutch students and researchers can use that data to think about solutions for obesitas, for what I was trying to mention is blood sugar problems.
Right. So there could be a lot of medical areas, there could be tech, etc. Even the use of AI for that matter is growing well, is warming up
yes,
in
I think
Netherlands.
although AI is the future, AI is going to change our lives. We are not leading in the AI world, but I can tell you that, and that's I think a kind of well-kept secret, that the next generation AI chips are being made in the Netherlands by Photonics. So we're leading the pack on Photonics.
Explain that to us.
Well, it's in a way it started with ASML. So ASML has become great because they use a technology based on photonics, which is a kind of way to use light in designing chips. And from that, they are now designing chips with light technology to make it 40% more efficient than the latest Nvidia chips. And also to make it in terms of capacity, 20 to 30% more effective. So those are the things we are working on in the Netherlands. Interesting about this, all those companies are offsprings of Philips. So there's a whole
we had a conversation with the
ecosystem.
The global research head. Yes.
Yeah. So it's fascinating that around Philips there's a huge ecosystem about those kind of interesting and also future technologies being bred.
So I know we are pressed on time but it's absolutely been great. But I would really like to know, what has been your favorite takeaway from your experience in Qatar?
My favorite takeaway is, I would say, the food.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. And most importantly, I particularly like the fact that, the Middle East, especially Dubai or UAE or Qatar or Saudi Arabia for that matter, they're very strong about a vision 2035.
Mm-hmm.
They're very forward thinking and they're ready to spend in that vision. And I think so many countries along with the Netherlands can really benefit. Is that what you feel as well?
Yeah, I think things are happening here in the Middle East. You mentioned already the examples, which are not happening anymore in Europe. I mean, there are new big designs in NEOM project in Saudi, the science parks being built in Emirates, but also here in Qatar. We're kind of old economy in Europe, and this is a new economy. And I think we want to be part of that new economy. well-known Dutch architect Rem Koolhaas. I don't know whether you know him, but
Not
he has
sure.
been building he has been in the National Library here in Qatar. And I had a very interesting meeting with him, and he was drawing a map. And in that map, he didn't draw Europe and the US.
Oh,
And I was asking why. He said, well,
sorry, we are irrelevant now.
it's happening between Asia, the Middle East, and Africa.
That's very
And
interesting.
that made me think that we need to be part of what's happening here. Also for our own future and the future of my children and grandchildren, we need to be here. We need to invest in here, in Qatar and in the Gulf region. And I strongly believe that will be the key point of also the development of Africa. I think we should not forget about what's happening in Africa. Largely populated, young population. So we need to think ahead. And even not have mentioned India. I mean,
I know.
India, I would say, still a sleeping giant with a huge potential. So
we're getting there. India is
Exactly.
definitely getting there.
So-
I mean, it has been getting there for the past few
absolutely.
years.
And I think it's very promising that the Emir, when he was visiting India on a state visit last week, now he announced a $10 billion
yes.
investment.
Yes, absolutely.
for,
So there
you
are
know-
great ties. I mean, India
Yeah.
and Qatar has sort of
Yeah.
shared very old ties together
Exactly.
and great relations.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. So our show is called The Hustle Style and Stories.
Yes.
A quick take on your personal style.
What?
Your personal style. I know I always get this
Yeah.
cheeky laugh from all the top CEOs and top
Yeah.
management and the top names that we
Yeah.
speak with. Do you believe in power dressing, or do you believe in not investing even a minute of your time on that? Do you think it's important?
I think power dressing is important because it says something about the first impression. So if you want to make a good impression and you want to connect with people, you have to think about, how do you appear at
Right.
first instance.
So,
And secondly, I mean, I'm as a Dutch person, I'm kind of straightforward in things. And my passion is to connect people and be a matchmaker and connect Dutch business with Qatari business.
so thank you very much for giving
Thank
us
you.
your time. But before we go, could you quickly tell us a favorite book that has inspired you, that we would like the audience also to be inspired?
I'm a big fan of a Japanese writer, Haruki Murakami. And his latest book, I really can recommend to the audience. I think he should have the Nobel Prize for Literature.
All right. Thank you, Ambassador
Thank you so
Ferdinand.
much. Keep watching Hustle Style and Stories with Shanu Suresh.